I had not streamed. So my last stream was on Tuesday. So we had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I used to stream on Saturdays. I really don't anymore. It's just not a good time to stream. But we missed some news. We missed some news, and I feel like we need to go over that. So let's bring this up. Let's talk about this for a second. All right. All right. Here's our news. Here's our news on December 9th. When was that? When was that? That was Thursday. Okay, Thursday. I guess it's always Thursdays. Fancy Flight comes out with news and stuff. But this is the big news over the past week. Lord of the Rings related. First off, huge, right? It's awesome to see that they're still doing more with this game, right? They have not given up on it. They're doing the cycles again. We'll see what cycles they pick to reprint and not. I think it will be kind of interesting which ones they decide on. But anyway, we can get into all that later. I think that's a fun discussion to have once we know more about it, right? Because I think there's some that make a lot of sense to do, especially the older ones where they don't really print them that often, and some of the newer ones it doesn't really make as much sense. But anyway, let's talk about this really fast because there's, basically 4 different decks, right? A Rohan deck, a Gondor deck, the elves, and dwarves. So pretty general type architect decks that most people would build, right? And if you hang around the community long enough, you would see those decks pop up and down, or pop up. So I was going through, and because I own all the cards, I wasn't super interested in this. So I was like, okay, yes, dwarves, okay, yeah, okay, whatever. All right, the elves make sense. Yep, all this fun stuff. And I basically scrolled down. Actually, I don't even know if it was this one or not. Was it this one? Oh, okay, here we go. So right here it goes. Note, for longtime fans of Lord of the Rings, you already own all of the game's expansions. You will not find any new cards to any of these starter decks. However, you may find it helpful to have one of these decks on hand when you introduce a friend to the game, since these decks have been tailor-made for new players. Which already says a lot to me that, like, realistically in Rings DB, from probably C-Stand, there's going to be decks that are just way stronger, right? Way stronger, work a lot better. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I thought was kind of interesting is, again, there's no new cards. While that is technically true, there are no new cards with this. There are some stuff. So I missed when I first glanced over this the first time. Somebody had pointed me out on our Discord, which, by the way, down in our description down below, there's a link to our Discord. Hop in there right now. Even as I'm talking, we're talking about LCGs right now, trying to catch up on things, deck build, all that fun stuff. It's a great place to hang out if you like LCGs. But right here, Dane. Dwarf Noble. Did not catch that the first time, and people who pay more attention than I do did, right? So for the first time, he's got the keyword Noble. Not a huge difference thing, but it is different, right? I guess it's essentially errated and changed. So that was kind of interesting. There's a few that have different keywords like that. It seems like Noble's going around more some of the earlier decks. One of the things that's interesting, and you don't see it unless you look at these cards. And if you look at these cards, you only can really see it if you really zoom in. Let's get way in there. Let's get way in there. All right, that's probably close enough. Do you see it right there? The response. Elrond's Council is now a response card. Makes no sense. Like, literally no. Like, I don't. We talked about this for a while in Discord. I'm trying to get some smarter people at Lord of the Rings to explain to me how this makes sense, because here's the card as it stands now. Here's that big enough for you all? All right, so it's an action. If you control a unique Noldor character, give another character +1 until the end of the phase and lower your threat. So is it just a response to controlling a character? Then, like, why is it changing? To me, that makes, like, it logically makes no sense. It's an action, right? If you control another character, you are, as an action, giving another character +1. Unless people are playing it that it only works for that one action and now it's constant, and that's the idea. That's my only thought, right? Is that it's responding constantly. So you're always giving the +1. Well, no, it already says that until the end of the phase. So I don't know. To be honest, it still doesn't make 100% sense to me. So, anyway, that's one of the weird things that are going on with this. Obviously, we can't see all the cards yet, so it'll be interesting to see what other ones have different keywords or slightly different word changes. I think that'll be important when it comes out. So at the end of the day, people have asked me, am I getting them? At first, I was like, no, I don't need to. I don't know. I want to see how many cards have changes to them, to be completely honest. That interests me. I think that interests me, and to the point that I would want to see what's going on there, because I'm not. I don't know. See, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens with these keywords if there's anything big. And there are a few cards that got changed later on that had limit once per phase or turn or round or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see if those got changed, because there was a lot of not errors, but I guess misprints or whatever early on in the game. So anyway, that was the big news. But more importantly, I think this is really kind of brilliant for Lord of the Rings, in the sense that people were kind of scared of this game because the deck building is really intense. It is, a 10, 11-year-old game where the deck building can be a bit rough, right? It's not, I don't know if intuitive is the right word or whatever, but it can be a bit much. I think that's fair to say for this game. So anyway, they're making improvements on it. They're doing more to it. It's fantastic. I am super excited for that. So anyway, that's what I wanted to cover really fast before we got in here. I think on most of my streams, I'm going to talk about some other stuff, before we actually get into the game moving forward, just to kind of talk to the community and all that fun stuff. So that is that. With that being said, I don't think there's anything else going on. So let's head to the table and start this game.